you've got questions, hopefully I've got some answers. Got some really good stuff to cover with you today. Dumping tanks, shower curtains, Travato's name, and many thanks for the compliments on the hat. Well, howdy partners. Thanks for tuning in to another Q&A Friday. Really appreciate each and every one of you tuning in today, tonight, whenever you're watching. I gotta tell you, 3 weeks in Texas, it's changed me. I'm listening to country. I admit it, modern country. I really like my hat. It's really kind of cool. But for warm weather, I may have to break down and buy a straw hat. But I'm gonna wear it for our Q&A session tonight. And the Texas attitude was prevalent throughout Texas, but the three areas I was in, Austin, San Antonio, and Galveston, were like almost being in completely different states. It was really an amazing experience. Just love Texas. Missed out on Houston, missed out on Dallas, missed out on South Padre, so lots more exploring to do. But hey, tonight's Q&A, and we got some really great questions. Boy, you guys are blowing my comments up on the RV traditional battery versus lithium, and we'll be addressing that next week a little bit. But tonight I want to cover a few questions, and they're really good ones from the viewers. So let me get to that. So MN Traveler, guessing that's Minnesota Traveler, says, "I'm so glad to see how comfortable the shower can be. Is the shower curtain at all helpful?" Good question. Let's take a look at that quick. I would say generally no. So that the shower curtain snaps in here, and it would certainly prevent this from getting wet. But then you're kind of elbowing it when you're moving around, and it sticks to you. And I used it once and found it to be completely unnecessary. So actually threw mine out. Don't tell Winnebago. But yeah, I just threw mine out. It was waste of material, and I want my bathroom getting wet, to be honest. If you've seen that video, I use it to hose everything down and get it clean inside. So great question. Shower curtain helpful at all? Nope. Next question comes from F&T. Thank you, F&T. Did you get her a name yet? I was thinking Bella. Cheers. So FNT is referring to the Travato, my Travato GL 2019. And yes, by popular demand, the audience viewers, you folks, picked the name of Lily by a wide margin. So Lily is the name of my Travato. I really like the name Lily. It's kind of delicate but strong. Which is what my Travato is about. So yes, hello, my name is Lily. Thank you for the question. And then the last question tonight comes from David Gabry. Hey David. So David Gabry asks, how about a video that shows how to empty the black and gray tanks? How long does it take you now to do versus the first time you emptied them? And the all-time favorite question around tanks is, when you empty them, does it smell? So David, for you tonight, I specifically emptied my tanks. I did a Santee flush on the black tank. So that's tonight's demo. So this is how we dump the black and gray tanks, and you get in the full meal deal today. I'm going to show you how we use the Santee flush as well, which comes standard on the Travato G and I think the K2. So my tank dumping practice has evolved since last October when I first got the rig. I had these 3 buckets, one for a water hose, one for a sewer hose, one for an electric. It was a tremendous use of space, which turned out to be unnecessary really in the end. So again, my process has evolved. So what I'm now doing is using the hose that comes in the Travato. So this is a standard with a G, and the tank dump valves are right here on the end. This is black, this is gray, this is the macerator pump for the gray. So because the hose is pretty short, I always try and get as close to the drain as possible. While it expands really long like a slinky, it is actually pretty short when it's tucked in. So I like to get really close. This is probably Well, let's measure that. And then let's get the gloves and get the process rolling here. All right, so the space currently between the tank thing here and the middle of the sewer is about 29 inches. So this is great. It can probably go another few feet. Like I've had it as far away as probably 4 feet from the hole, maybe even 5. But this is kind of best practice here. Then just the hose sinks right into here. You'll see that. So let's get the gloves. All right, this too has been a giant evolution. Again, I had those 3 buckets, and what I've since done is do a much more professional job, certainly with full-time. You're gonna get a chuckle out of this, because what I had been doing is using this bag, which was actually pretty good because it allowed me to put the hose in the bag into the back closet, and didn't get the closet wet. But what I've evolved to is getting rid of this extra hose and the big bag. So bye-bye bag. And now, you guys might be impressed by this. You ready? Ooh. So thank you, Go Small Live Large viewers, for telling me to get a command hook and the Velcro strap. And now my back closet is really nicely organized. So this is water, electrical clearly. Here's the simple sewer hose, and then this is the water filter. So sewer, water, electricity in a campsite. And this is nice because the sewer dump is quite a ways from the water. It always kind of grosses me out that the sewer is right next to it. Just kind of lazy engineering, because then you're kind of stepping through the sewer stuff, which is less than ideal. Okay, let's get the gloves on and get this hose out. All right, so what I've done for the gloves is I've gone to Walmart and I purchased these. They're like heavy-duty household gloves for like doing dishes. I got the larger than necessary size, so they slip on and off pretty easily. I keep an extra one in here, and the one that I'm actually using goes into this Ziploc bag. And I do it so that I never really touch the dirty parts. I'm always touching the inside part. So pretend we're going to the doctor. And for you boys out there, not sure what the girls have to go through, but there's a phrase in the becoming a young man that's turn your head and cough. So we got the hose here, and out comes the hose. And what I like to do is get the lid off here and stick the hose into the hole. You can see that. And then you can see how short the hose is, right? I mean, it's probably maybe 3 feet long, but it stretches a hell of a long way, right? But because I don't have a collar to fit inside of this, because it won't fit into that thing, I get close. Then I take this off. Now, inevitably, there's a little bit of water stuff that comes out, but because you emptied with the, or finished last time with the gray, this is not really sewer water in the sense of heavy solids. Make sure that's secured, bring in here good, and then you simply pull the black tank handle. I can hear it emptying. This tank was 2/3 full. The question is, does it smell? Maybe a tiny backdraft coming out of this. I always like to do this little, just like that. Close that, and then pull the gray, and then push the button. And you always do black first, followed by gray. The gray cleans out the black hose. You have the black, residue in the hose. I always like to give this a little wash, just to help clean that outside. Now the gray tank was only 1/3 full, so not a lot going on here, but been urban camping the last 2 days and probably for the next 2-3 days. Now there is a little back scent vapor, I would say, coming out here. It smells mostly like soap, because that's typically what goes into this. So again, it's really not gross. I never see it. More time. And And you can hear how the noise changed, and that indicates that it's done. So no water coming out. So you close that good. So let's do the Sandy Flush. Sandy Flush is kind of a cool feature. It requires hooking up the fresh water, and then what it does is it rinses the black tank. So let's do that before we finish. And because this is clean water, not going into the drinking water system, I'm not going to use the filter. Normally I would if I'm filling the freshwater tank. In fact, I just want to unwrap the clean water here and connect this to the... So this is fresh water. And then we're going to connect this Sandy Flush on the passenger side. And this just screws in. And its sole purpose is to rinse out the black tank. Okay, so now what we're going to do is turn on the water and then open up the black tank. So water on. Good water pressure. You can hear it spraying. Let's wait for that. You hear that? Okay, so I usually let it fill for just a minute or two to get the sediments in the bottom, and then I pull the drain. And you can hear it draining. And the Winnebago manual states that let it rinse for 2 to 3 minutes. So do that with the drain open. And to do this every second or, well, every second or third tank dump. I'm probably averaging about every third or fourth. But I'm very sensitive on keeping this system clean. So then what I might do is close this again, let it just fill for a minute. What I'm trying to do is just get all the sediment out of the bottom of the tank. I would love to know what the configuration of the spray system inside the spray system configuration inside the tank. I would love to know what that looks like and how that sprays. All right, last dump here. Just let that run for a minute. See, it's pretty easy, right? It's not gross. I can't see it. Don't even smell it. If you're not doing the sandy rinse, this whole thing is literally over in 2 or 3 minutes. It's just the easiest thing. The hose stores on the side. It's just so simple. Okay, I'm going to turn off the water. All right, we'll close this valve, and let me get my other glove on so we can handle the big hose, the big mama. But as I've been to RV parks and see what other RVers have to go through to get their sewer system set up and emptied, it's just, this is so easy. All right, take this off. So you can see how clear that water is. There's not any suds anymore. Put that on nice and tight. Definitely don't want that coming off. And then I just kind of give this a little, shake into the hole. Make sure it gets as much of the fluid out as possible. And that's it. Pretty simple, right? Okay, then with that, we just put it back in the storage hole. It just goes in like that. So again, if you had one of those big collars, it wouldn't fit in here. So that's why I don't have one. And then off come the gloves. Let's put the cap on here. Be nice neighbors. I roll the gloves up so that, again, I'm not touching the outsides ever. I give them a little fold at the top so I can grab that next time. So that's the dumping of the black and gray tanks. Hope you got something out of that. I enjoyed making that for you. I'm always amazed at how easy this process is, but how many questions I get about it. So thank you for bringing that question to the audience, and now we all know better, right? Forgot to mention there's 2 more steps. First is to wash the hand. Again, this is why I love this, having the second sink, is I can wash without having to pop the sink up, the faucet, the lid, and it's just literally right here. It's just so convenient. Get the pump going. So that's done. And then the second thing for the black tank, what you want to do is use some of this chemical. There's a few different brands. I kind of like this one. I get it at Walmart typically. So it's a tank treatment, and what it does, it eliminates odor, digests the waste, and boy, it's the best value. Isn't that great? And it is. You get how many pods you get here? 12. I think the whole thing's like maybe $8-10. And what they look like is kind of a laundry packet thingamajig. You can see that. And then I'll open the sink or the toilet here. And then what you do is literally, drop it in, give it a little fresh water, and what it ends up doing is that clear cellophane membrane dissolves, and then you got to turn it into a blank tank to eliminate odors and digest the waste. So you're supposed to do that for your gray tanks as well. I do it about every third or fourth time versus every time with the black tank, because what's mostly going into the gray is soapy water anyway, so I'm not nearly as concerned. But black tank, I want that system functioning admirably. So I hope you enjoyed another Q&A Friday. Keep those questions coming. The channel growth is going crazy. Just loving every aspect of this. I can't reiterate enough how cool this whole thing is. And it's because of you folks that it keeps driving me forward. In fact, you can see I've got my goals and stuff. If you refer to the January video when I was heading into the RV Super Show in January in Tampa, I made some really big statements on goals. So to keep me focused front and center, I've got these posts up here so I can't miss them. And I'm doing it all for you guys. Really, I mean, seriously, you boys and girls out there, you young'uns, you old'uns, you OGs, your NGs, you gals, everybody, every stripe, every creed, every color. Because I learned from so many heroes in the YouTube community, and I met so many of them at the RV Entrepreneur Summit recently that I'm just more dedicated to ever to teach everything I know, because others have done that for me. So thank you for tuning in tonight. Really appreciate that.